Excuse me. I had to burp. Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star Telegram, Engel Angle podcast here on the Sunset Lounge. I am here to talk about a tremendous achievement that I accomplished over the weekend in Keller, Texas, when I completed my first triathlon. Thank you. Yeah, we can do autographs later. I'm going to set up a GoFundMe. I'm also going to set up a page where I'll provide autograph photographs for the kids, more for adults. Well, actually, more for kids. I figure I'll do an inverse on that. Usually people charge less for kids. I'm going to be different. I'm going to charge more for kids. But on a serious note, I did complete the 2026 St. Patrick's Day Triathlon. So the reason I wanted to share this this story rather, is because it's not just about the fact that I did something that I never thought I would do until up to including about 2 months ago. I never thought I would be able to complete a triathlon. That was always something somebody else did. Marathons, yes. Half marathons, yes. But a triathlon, those are the crazy people who can swim and bike and run in succession. And I just never thought I could do it. So I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to do that. But the reason I want to share this is that this is not going to be some boring story about a weekend warrior type. No, this is about a lifelong thing and overcoming some things that were set in my mind a long, long time ago, including the fact that this race was a total and complete shit show on my part. But I still did it. And what I realized in accomplishing this is that sometimes our greatest feats aren't necessarily overcoming obstacles that were set before us by somebody else or life or God or some other higher power, but rather overcoming ourselves and the things that we do to ourselves to impede us from accomplishing anything. And I would certainly put myself in this category up to and including the 2026 St. Patrick's Day Triathlon in Keller, Texas. Now, I want to give you the backstory on this. I was not much of a high school athlete. In fact, I was not a high school athlete at all. I have talked about my athletic prowess on the podcast before, where I didn't really participate much in sports, organized sports, after I was cut. I was the last guy cut from the 7th grade baseball team. Still very bitter about that. And that pretty much ended my athletic career. And now that I'm much older and I have a daughter, I certainly do recognize the impact if I had played sports. Remember, that was a time select sports didn't really exist. All those club things, they didn't really exist. You either played for your middle school and your high school, or you really weren't playing at all. And I didn't. So I now much older, can certainly recognize and appreciate the power and impact of playing youth sports can have on a kid. I've seen it with my own child, and I certainly, as I've gone and thought about my own life, that would have been something that would have been great for me. But I didn't play. And as a result, that time gap that existed after 3 o'clock or 3:30 or 4, whenever school ended, I didn't have it filled by activity or anything along those lines that would have been a real positive for me. And that's a real hole and that sports fills for a lot of people. And I've seen what it can do, like I said, for my daughter in a way that I never fully appreciated. So I really didn't pursue any kind of athletic endeavors until graduate school was over. I had come back from Europe and I'd lost this weight. I'd lost weight because I had been walking 12 to 15 miles a day and my diet had changed dramatically because I'm in Europe on a very tight budget. And everybody notices that I've lost probably 10, 12, 15 pounds. And I was so excited about it. And I thought, well, what can I do to keep this weight off? And I just start running. And I had no idea what I was doing. This would have been in 1998. So at that time, that kind of information is not available on your phone. You had to go to the library or a bookstore or something like that to really look it up. And I didn't do any of that. So I just started to run. And to show you how smart I was back then, I was running in high tops. And then and I was running it like in North Texas at 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoons. And that was in June, July, August, September. That's when I was running. I still don't know how I did that. And in spite of those obstacles that I presented to myself, I still kept running. And at some point, I decided I'm going to run a half marathon. So I run the 1998 Dallas White Rock half marathon. It would have been in probably November. Just drove over there one day, and I'll never forget it because it was a beautiful day for a runner. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it. It was overcast, it was about 50 degrees, and there was a light mist. And it was absolutely ideal conditions for me. And as I'm running, and I don't think at that time I had run beyond 8 or 9 miles. So 13.1 was pretty intimidating number for me. But I thought, well, I'll see how it goes. And I'm doing fine. But along around the, I guess, third or fourth mile, somebody says, "Hey, buddy, you got a blowout." I don't even know what that means. So I look down and, oh, my shoelace is untied. I guess that's what a blowout means. So I get off the side of the road and tie my shoe, and somebody else says, "Man, I don't know how you're running in those things." And I'm like, why? I'm not wearing high tops. I graduated past that. I was running in not tennis shoes. Tennis shoes are bulkier. I was running in the type of tennis shoes that you would wear to watch somebody play tennis. These flat, very unsupportive shoes. And I didn't know any better. So along the way, I'm in a good pace. I had caught to somebody, some woman, and I'm just basically running at her feet the whole time. And she's maintaining my pace, unbeknownst to her. And I think about mile 8 or 9, I'm noticing my feet are in quite a bit of pain. And I'm changing my stride, my feet placement on every step because something is going on there that I don't know what's going on, but I know it hurts. Every step hurts. So I finished with like a really good time. I was like 1:42 or something like that. And again, that's a good time for me, I think. So I'm like, wow. And I was very excited. And I tapped the woman on the shoulder. I said, "Thanks a lot. You were great. You kept me in pace the whole way." And she looks at me like I'm some kind of alien. And at that point, I'm like, I wonder what's going on with my feet. And I take my shoes off, and I have got 2 massive blisters on my big toes, both my right and my left. I'm like, oh, yeah, how about that? Maybe my shoes did matter. So I kept going with that momentum of running, and eventually I did I did the Fort Worth Cowtown Marathon, I think in 1999, and there I learned a very valuable lesson, and that is if you don't have a good weather day, I'd almost tell you not even bother to do it. And that day was awful. It was like 85 degrees. It was one of these rogue early spring days in Fort Worth that just happened occasionally. And it was like 25-mile-an-hour winds. And I ended up walking a great portion of it. And it was so discouraging. So then a number of years later, I start running a lot again, and I got in pretty good shape, and I'm gearing up, and I've got that date circled, and I'm going to do the Dallas Rock and Roll Marathon, the whole thing. Sure enough, terrible, awful weather day, just awful weather day. It was like 83 degrees and high winds, and I'm in great shape for a marathon. Didn't matter. And I thought I could run through it. Nope, reduced me to a pile of tears. And again, I ended up having to walk a great portion of that race, a race that the conditions were so bad, some poor guy died during that event. I beat him. I don't think I beat anybody else, but I was still in pretty good shape. And I thought, damn it, I really want a good experience with running a marathon. So then a couple months later, I run the Fort Worth Cowtown Marathon, and I finally get the experience that I wanted. I finished in a little over 4 hours. It's like 4:06. I was hoping to hit a sub 4-hour thing. That's kind of a thing for runners. But I ran the whole way. The weather was good. It was sunny, but it was cool. And I probably could have done a sub 4 hours had I been running with somebody, had maybe a good partner to run with or something like that. But I was running by myself a lot. And it didn't matter. I finished it. I had the achievement I wanted. And I did get the experience that I wanted. And I completed a marathon all the way from mile 1 to 26.2, running the whole way, which leads me to go off ramp here for a second to talk about something that happened this past weekend in Los Angeles that absolutely infuriates me as somebody who has completed all 26.2 miles of 3 different marathons. when the event organizers of the Los Angeles Marathon made an announcement that runners who completed 18 miles of the marathon would be given a finisher's medal because weather conditions were so inordinately hot in Los Angeles over the weekend. I want to say that again. If you were a marathon runner at the 2026 LA Marathon, you would be given a finisher's medal if you wanted to be done at mile 18 because of the weather. To which I say, no, you didn't finish the marathon. If you were one of those people who accepted the medal at mile 18 with 8.2 miles remaining on the course, that you quit because it was hot, go fuck yourself. I have a major problem with that. And I think anybody who has ever gone through the torture chamber that is mile 20 through 26.2 is going to look at you differently, and you will be judged in this lifetime and the next. If you have ever done a marathon before, miles 1 through 13, and you've trained for it, miles 1 through 13, that's fun. That legitimately is pretty fun. Mile 13 to 18, it starts to catch up with you. It starts to hurt a little bit. Mile 20 is a punch to your face, your feet, your crotch, your lower back, and all parts of your body. That is pain. That is what separates the marathon finisher, the marathon runner, from everybody else who cut and run, justifiably sometimes, before you get to the finish line. The pain that you experience and just the absolute mental fatigue where you question everything about your life in miles 20 through 26.2 cannot be replicated by any other point on that course before that marker. I vividly remember at miles 20 through 26.2 and those other marathons that I did it, not so much the last one, but certainly the previous two. I'm like, why the hell am I out here? This is miserable. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? This is awful. I hate everything. I hate everybody. Why are you on this course out here yelling at me? I look pathetic. You're pathetic. You're just so mad because it hurts so much to keep doing it. And then when you do finish, there is a sense of accomplishment that you set out to do something and you completed 26.2 miles nonstop. That is really hard. And the hardest part isn't even the race. The hardest part is training for it because you have to accommodate time. And not only time, but changes in your diet and your social routine to allow yourself to be in a good place to train properly and to run. Training for a half marathon and completing a half marathon, that's fun. Doing a full marathon is a job. And I'm sorry, if you're one of those people, and I say those people who accepted a medal for completing 18 miles of a 26.2 mile course in Los Angeles, and you bailed because it was hot, nope, doesn't count. So it's bullshit. You don't deserve the medal. You didn't finish the race. Sorry. That's just the way it is. You finish mile 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 and 26.2, then you will know why. There is a difference. So the people who went out and finished 26.2, congratulations. Which leads me to where I did something over the weekend in Keller that I never thought I would do, like I said before, and that is complete a triathlon. And it was a disaster. Now, I had this idea, well, I guess back in December or November of last year, because last summer I decided to take swim lessons. I could swim, but basically my talent as a swimmer was, oh, that's great, you didn't drown. Good job. I was a terrible swimmer. I would do a lap and have to catch my breath. That's how bad of a swimmer I was. And I tried. watched YouTube videos. I just wasn't very good at it. So finally, I ponied up some money and I took 3 swim lessons at $25 a crack. Some college kid who gave me lessons, and I kept swimming and I did get better. And I thought, maybe I can do a triathlon. So I asked a colleague of mine who had done those before, a nice man named Tom Johanigmeyer, and he said, yeah, you're probably in good enough shape. You can do one right now. So my ego heard, I can do it. Okay. So I kind of got my body used to doing it. I went to the gym, I would swim and I would change, and then I would go up to the bike trainer, like the stationary bike, and I would do however many miles, and then I would go run maybe a mile. And that hurt. That was not something that I was accustomed to, and I was glad I did it because it gave me an idea of what that transition was going to feel like. And there is a big transition, not from the swim to the bike. That's okay. It's the bike to the run, because you're using different parts of your muscles on your legs, and it hurts. And it takes a minute to get your legs warmed up. So I was doing a little bit more on that. And then one day, I guess about 5 weeks ago, I decided I'm just going to do the distances of all 3 and see if I can do it. And the distances, I think I overdid it. I think I swam 500 meters at a 25-meter pool. Then I went upstairs and I rode 10 or 11 miles on the bike. And then I went to the treadmill and I ran 3.1 miles. And I did all 3 in succession. I was pretty tired, but I did it. And I thought, okay. And then I had the debate in my own head. Do I really need to do this? Do I need to spend all this money? And somebody said on Twitter, yes, you need to do it. I was like, okay. So I was eyeing one that had multiple distances in the same race. This is a sprint triathlon, a 400-meter swim, followed by a 14.5-mile bike ride, followed by a 5K run, which is 3.1 miles. I don't own the right bike. I haven't ridden on a bicycle outside in years. I like a mountain bike. And my brother, who's a cyclist, said, yeah, you want to go rent a bike for this. So leaning on my past experiences, I decided that I would do it if the weather was right. And I waited on the weather forecast until Friday, 2 days before the event, before I registered for the event. And the weather looked good, because I said to myself, if the weather's not good, if it's going to be hot, rain I could deal with, but if it's going to be hot, inordinately hot, I just wasn't going to do it. I was not going to sign up for any more of a misery than these events tend to be anyways. Weather looked good. I signed up for it, got all my stuff ready. I'm ready to go. And I wake up, and of course, on Sunday morning, daylight savings ends, so I lose an hour's sleep. So I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep. I get all my stuff, and at the last second, I decide, you know what? I'm not going to put on my contacts now, because my vision was just kind of blurry in the morning. It kind of hurts. And I thought, I'll take my contacts to the race and I'll just put them on there in the car. So I've got my glasses on, and I can't see anything without glasses or contacts. I'm intensely nearsighted. So that's very important to me. So I get everything, stuff, shorts, everything ready to go in the car. And about halfway there, it's about a 40-minute drive. And about halfway there, I think, where are my contacts? We're in my contact case. I just can't see them. I'm sure they're there. So I get to the event, I park, and then I see everybody is starting to get into the holding area and all that other stuff, where they put their bike and their gear and their shoes and all that. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting kind of nervous, because there's parts to this that I don't know how it's going to go for me. And specifically, I was very nervous about the swim. Well, that's the least of my concerns. I park my car, and I don't have my contact lenses. It's dark outside, because obviously daylight savings is gone. And I'm looking around and I cannot find my contact lenses. And I am so mad at myself. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I had everything and I don't have my contact lenses. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Didn't have them. I have not exercised wearing eyeglasses since I was probably, 15 years old, 14 years old, someplace in there. I hate exercising and sweating in my eyeglasses. So now I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to see anything. But I thought, I don't have enough time to go back to the house and pick them up. I'm just going to have to figure this out. Again, I've got bigger issues coming down the road, unbeknownst to me. So I get to the holding area, put all my stuff down, and now I've got about an hour before, and I'm looking around, and in that moment, I am reminded of the fact that the weekend warrior competition types, if you are going to participate with that group of people, there are a few things that you have to leave in the car: modesty and vanity. Nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares what you're wearing. Nobody cares whatever state of undress that you need to be in order to complete this event. It's rather charming and disarming, because you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to do this just right here, up to and including the necessity that is to use the bathroom before you start the event. One of the reasons why I quit running, there are a lot of reasons I quit running, was because of the anxiety and constant frustration that I always experience when I go on long distance runs. Inevitably, I have to use the bathroom. That's life. It's Mother Nature. And I'm like, okay, where am I going to go? Where am I going to stop? And I would have to design runs around, well, okay, where's there going to be a restroom? So I know in that moment, I'm like, I've got to use the restroom. What's the best way to go? I'm not going to take a laxative. That's not going to kick in quick enough. So I go run. I run about 8 to 10 minutes just to get my body warmed up, but specifically to use the restroom. And sure enough, they have 4 porta potties, and the line there is horrifically long. And now you have to go through the mental torture preparation of stepping into that porta potty and training your eyes to look up. Porta potty is a scarring experience, even on the best of circumstances. But the most important thing that you do with a porta potty is look up. That way you can avoid what is down. Because if you, by any chance, make the mistake of looking down, you will never forget what you saw. That's behind me. It's okay. I'm feeling good. I've got my swimsuit on. One of the things they recommended was a triathlon suit. If you know me, you know I'm not buying it. If I have anything close to it, I'm not buying it. So what I have are compression shorts, appropriately length, and a Superman dry fit t-shirt. That's my triathlon outfit. I'm running on about 16 ounces of coffee and 50 ounces of water. Got a big jug. It's good. It's going to fit on the bike. It's all good. I'm ready to go. I've had an Eggo waffle with peanut butter on it. I am completely in the right space. Now, mentally, I am nervous about the swim. I get in line. They said, 7:30, swimmers, go get in line. I'm standing in line with all these poor people, not wearing any shoes because I'm going to go in the pool. But I'm really, really nervous about what I'm going to do with these eyeglasses that I've got on. I can't swim in them. I'm like, where am I going to put these? Don't worry. There's a table in the natatorium where you can put personal effects. Got it. I get in. I'm near the back by design. I'm near the back, and we get in. There's a large, it's a 50-meter pool with a diving well, so the pool's very, very deep. And I'm looking around, and it is just absolute chaos in the pool. People are jumping in and swimming the 400 meters to go down 50, turn around, and it's like 4 or 6 laps. I can't remember what it is. I can't do the math. But my concern right now is not the pool. My concern is, where am I going to put my glasses? I see the table. I walk down there, and I put my glasses down. And unfortunately, I look at that table, and there's one other pair of glasses on it, and it looks exactly like mine. It's basically the same frames. And in that moment, I'm like, oh God, whomever picks these up, I just hope they pick up the right pair. If they pick up the wrong pair on any circuit, like for any length of time, I'm screwed. If I don't have these eyeglasses, my day's over. I can't see well enough beyond 4 or 5 feet. 3 feet. I'm not going to do anything. So I put the glasses down. I'm like, oh God, please just pick up the right pair, dude, whoever you are. And I go get in line, and I'm blind. I can't see anything. I can basically see about here, and that's about it. So I'm making my way around, and there's this woman standing next to me. She appears to be about 4'5", and she's chatting me up, and then she's with her daughter, and we're doing this and you're doing this. Have you ever done this? Or no, I'm new to this. Well, you're going to do great and very good. You got this. And I don't know where along the lines, you got this became the anthem and the soundtrack to all of these different amateur events. You got this. Okay. So now I get around and I am at the edge of the pool. And as I'm standing there, it hits me. I've got to go to the bathroom. I've got to pee so badly. I've got to pee so badly because I've had all that water and coffee in me, and I've got to pee so badly, but I'm going to be in the pool here in about 10 seconds. They say, okay, you're up, sir. Drop in the water, and I'm going. I've never swam in a 50-meter pool before, ever. I don't think I'd ever been in a 50-meter pool before. 25, yes. This is a lot longer. And I'm swimming and some people are hitting me. I don't think I'm passing anybody. And at one point, I finally get to the wall. Because at one point, I'm like, where the fuck is the wall? I finally get to the wall and I see some poor guy hanging on to the rope, the barrier, and it looks like he's going to die. That's just the first lap. I'm like, well, okay, I'm doing better than this guy. So then I do the whole thing. And I would say the swim went better than I thought. But swimming 50 meters as opposed to 25 meters is a bigger challenge than I fully appreciated because I just kept looking for the wall. And I'm looking, and I can't see anything. My vision is so bad that what I can see doesn't really help. Is like, well, where am I? I don't know where I am. And I'm like, okay, there's the wall. Good. Okay, now go back. So finally, I finished. I think my swim time was 12.5 minutes, which for me was pretty good. And that's the whole thing for me, for you. Focus on your own self and you'll feel achievement. Because if you start getting into the comparison game, especially in these things, you're going to feel real bad real quick. So I get to the edge and only thing I'm thinking about, please, my glasses have to be there. I get out of the pool and there are my glasses. Thank you, God. There are my glasses. And I have finished the hardest part of the triathlon for myself. I just did it. I swam 400 meters, and I'm very proud of that fact, but I have got much bigger issues coming that's going to make this pool scenario, a natatorium scenario without my glasses look like a party. And I will share that with those details with you after this.
Hello, it's Mike Reiner of Your Dark Companion here. Let me ask you, are you looking for something to fill the long dead air hours of your day? Well, join the Sunset Lounge DFW and Your Dark Companion on patreon.com, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Replace those sad, slow hours with sports, pop culture, music woven into interesting conversations. So step inside the green door, have a seat at the bar, and get in the groove with those shows and so very much more.
So I finish the pool portion of the event, but I've got to go to the bathroom. I've got to pee so badly. And now I'm feeling kind of competitive because I'm like, I want a good time. I don't know why. I want a good time. So I run off to the porta potty and I pee. Oh, thank God. Okay. Now I go back and I dry my feet off. Pardon me. I actually did the shoes first. I get that stuff. And now I've got my water bottle. And then I realize my daughter has taken the water bottle that I needed. And the water bottle that I have does not fit on my bike. I'm not going to have any water on this bike ride. On a 14.5-mile bike ride, I'm not going to have any water because it doesn't fit. So I take a swig, I put it down. I'm like, okay. I put on a sweatshirt. I put on my gloves. And it takes me a second. I get my helmet on finally. And I'm off and running, cycling. Never done this before. I haven't been on a bike in years. I'm like, whoa, okay, this takes a second. There's a crowd of people there in front of the town center there in Keller. And says, yeah, yo, you got this. Good job, yay. I'm like, okay, I'm off and I'm going. So one part of this course that I was unfamiliar with is that there was going to be some hills, but I did not know just how steep the hills were going to be. I saw that there was hills. I'm like, wow, these are pretty steep. There was like 3 of them. And the one challenge to this bike that I had rented, I wasn't familiar with the gears. So I'm basically just like hitting gears. I'm like, oh, please go up, please go down, please go. And meanwhile, I'm kind of worried. I'm like, please just chain, don't come off. Just don't come off. Like I don't have it in me to fix the chain. So anytime I messed with the gears, I was kind of holding my breath. So I'm going up the hills, and one of the beautiful parts about going, a bike race like this, you can kind of cheat and coast going down the hills at good speed. So I'm doing it. All right. So now I take the turn, I'm coming back, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm passing some people, and I'm a little nervous about that because the USA Triathlon people are really kind of vigilant about you can only pass on your left, and you got to be 3 bike length distances, and you don't do the passing zone, they'll penalize you. And I'm trying to do all this math. I'm like, I've never done this before. So finally, now I'm back, and there's a group of people, and there's a turn up there, and I see cyclists turning left to go back towards the start finish line area. And then I see some other people doing a U-turn. I'm like, well, which one am I supposed to do? And there's a sign there, and I do have my glasses on, which are working out okay. There's a sign there, and I can't really see it. So I just turn left. I'm like, okay, I guess we make the turn up there. So now I'm cycling back, and I get towards the town center, and this is about a mile back, mind you. And then I hear, yay, good job, guys, good job, great job, all right, all right. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be done with this. This is for the people who are only doing 10 miles. I want to do the full length, the full 14 and a half. So I get up and I can see the pad where if you cross it, it's going to affect your chip. And I stop. And there are these 3 teenage girls. It looks like they work for the event. I said, hey, I think I've ended this too soon. Where was I supposed to turn? And they're like, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then I ride the bike up onto the grass because there was a crowd of people, and I didn't want us to go, down the wrong way or the wrong way as people were coming in. So I ride onto the grass. Then I cycle over to a guy who looks like he's working there. I said, sir, I think I messed this up. Where's the turn? He's like, oh, no, mate, the turn's back that way. You got to you'll do the U-turn back that way. That's where you make the turn. I added 2.2 miles to the cycling portion of this triathlon. I was not very happy about that. So finally I get back with the rest of the competitors, at which point I'm not last, I'm in the conversation. I'm really close to last. So I finished the remaining 2 laps, and I am just so irritated with myself. I'm like, how did I miss that? How did I miss the turn? So anyways, okay, it's all right. I get it done, and I'm feeling pretty good. Now my calf muscles are pretty sore, and I hadn't ridden 14 and a half miles, in this case 16 point whatever miles. So I finish it, and I'm near the back, right? And I'm near the back, and and as I'm finishing, people are done. People are done, like getting in their car, going home, and having a nice Sunday, and I've still got the run left. So I get there, and I put my bike up, take a swig of water, eat a bite of a Cliff Bar, and I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom again. And by the way, I hadn't had any water yet on the course. I had no water yet. And I'm really parched because of the bike ride and the wind and all that. And I've got to go to the bathroom again. So I go back to the porta potty, pee again, and now I'm like, okay, now I feel good. Let's go. So now I run off to the start finish line, and I hear this woman say, oh, sir, you don't have your bib on. I'm like, what? You don't have your bib on? Yeah, okay, that's true. So they give you a bib to wear for the bike and the run, and I had not put it on yet. So I got to go run back to where my stuff is, put my bib on, and then I can start the run race. I'm about 10 steps in, and I realize there's no way I'm running this thing with my glasses on. It's bouncing, it's uncomfortable, so I just take them off. So I'm basically running with a blur. And it's in a city park, so I'm not really worried about tripping on anything, but I'm just running in a blur, and I've got 3.1 miles to go, so I can be done with a triathlon. And I'm feeling all right. It helped a lot. My legs were pretty much numb from the bike ride for about the first mile and change. And at 1 mile, there it is, a mirage off in the distance, similar to the traveler in the middle of the Sahara in search of water. I'm like, there's no way. Is that really a water station? Am I finally going to get water? Is that it? Yes, I finally get water. Pound glass, cup, and I'm off. So now as I'm running and people were passing me, I could see them out of the corner of my eye, And even despite my limited vision, at the last second when they would pass me, I could see them and I would recognize people. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm behind this guy. I'm behind that woman. I'm behind the fat guy. Really? I'm in good shape. And I'm getting dusted by these guys. And none of them know that I had secretly, unintentionally ridden my bike an additional 2.2 miles. I couldn't tell them, wait, sir, real quick. Here's why I'm behind you. So I'm on my way back. I take the turn and I'm getting close and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm honestly feeling pretty good. I'm like, I'm going to do it. This is going to be good. So then I'm getting up and there's a city park where there's, it's a play area for kids and there's an arrow. And I'm like, well, which way am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to go right or left? And again, I'm right up on the arrow because I wouldn't have been able to see it otherwise. I'm like, am I supposed to go right or left? And there's a guy behind me and I said, do you know which way we're supposed to go? He's like, I don't know. Somebody ahead says, yeah, just keep going straight. You're fine. So I just run straight. And I'm like, I don't know if I was supposed to do that. It would have been 25 extra feet. That if we eliminated, it was 25 extra feet. I don't care at this point. So I'm running. This guy next to me is like me. We're near the end and we're starting to run faster. We find that kick of energy and I'm starting to run faster and I'm bouncing ahead of him. I got it. I'm going to beat him. I'm not going to beat anybody else, but I'm going to kick his ass. So I'm going to beat him. And as I get up there, I see where the finish line is. I see it. And sure enough, burst of energy, and I can hear the PA guy say, yay, good job, way to go, Superman. And I cross the finish line. I'm like, yeah. And then I hear the same PA guy say, hey, you're not done, Superman. The finish line's up there. Well, I couldn't see the finish line because I didn't have my glasses on. And I look up, I put on my glasses like, oh, yeah, I got another 20 feet. So then I run and I complete the 2026 St. Patrick's Day Triathlon. About 10 minutes later, maybe 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I'm packing up my stuff where my bike was, and I hear the PA announcer say, hey, put your hands together. Congratulations for Bill Smith or whatever. He's 91 years old, and he just completed the triathlon. A 91-year-old man completed that triathlon. And I beat his ass. Not even a game. That's how much better I am than that guy. So later on in the day, I got my times. I finished in 1 hour and 54 minutes and 11 seconds. Again, I want to give you the distances: 400-meter swim, 14.5-mile bike ride for the smart people, 3.1-mile run. My swim time was 12 minutes and 25 seconds. And now the part that really bothers me. My bike was 1 hour and 6 minutes and 16 seconds. I think I probably added about 8 to 9 minutes on my unintentional long cut, the scenic route. My run, I can't believe this. I almost don't believe this. It says my run was 28 minutes and 6 seconds. And that run had some hills on it. That meant I averaged about 9 minutes and 2 seconds on the. I can't believe that. I almost think that's wrong. I'm like, there's no way I was going that fast. Anyways, I finished, out of 208 competitors, I finished 170th. Amongst men in the age group, 17th of 18th. And among men, 128th out of 149. The winner of this race, I don't know how he did this, finished in 1 hour and 1 minute. He was done when I was still on the course with half of the course remaining. I hate those people. So after I did the math, this is what I figured out. I should have finished at about 1:46, 1 hour and 46 minutes. That's what I should have finished. If I had done the bike the way it's designed, I should have finished about 1:45 or 1:46. And my placement should have been about 135th. Now here's the great part. Does it matter where I really finished? Unless you're finishing first, no, I'm not even sure it matters then. What matters is that I set a goal for myself back in December, at the end of December, to do a triathlon, something that I never really thought that before this that I would actually do, because for the reasons I previously explained. But I did go out and do it, and I'm proud of that fact. And I went above and beyond. So my hope is on this is that if the event organizers of the LA Marathon and the St. Patty's Day Triathlon in Keller, Texas can put their, heads together and accommodate the fact that I didn't stop short. I went the extra mile, literally, to complete this event. So I'm thinking, if the LA Marathon person who completed 18 miles gets a finisher's medal, then I think the person who completed the triathlon with an extra 2.2 miles on the bike should be first place. See you next time.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.